The Mohammed V International Airport in Casablanca has been bustling for the past few hours after more than 2 months of closure due to COVID-19. Morocco reopened its airspace on Monday 7th this month. Despite the reopening, strict measures have been put in place to curb the spread of coronavirus. All travelers must be vaccinated, and upon arrival, they are all subjected to both antigenic and PCR tests. For those leaving Moroccan territory, in addition to the vaccination pass, they must present a negative PCR test before boarding. Beyond these measures, this opening of the airspace after a long period of closure has been a real relief to passengers. This will help the vital tourism sector, which has been severely dented by the ongoing health crisis. The losses over the past 2 years has led to 20 million lower travelers and more than $8 billion in foreign exchange revenues. The government's efforts to turn around the tourism sector include partnership with international tour operators and airlines, as well as an international advertising campaign to promote Morocco. It has also launched a $190 million emergency plan for the sector.
Military prosecutors in Burkina Faso are seeking a minimum of 30 years in prison for former President Blaise Compaore, accused of being the main sponsor of the killing of his predecessor, Thomas Sankara. The former army captain and Burkina leader, Thomas Sankara, was killed with 12 of his colleagues in a coup in 1987. The trial started last October and involves 14 defendants. 12 of them were present in court. The main accused, however, Blaise Compaore, was absent, as well as one of his former commanders, Ayathint Kafandu, on the run since 2016. The former leader faces a number of accusations, including complicity in a murder. Lawyers for the defense team have requested the suspension of the trial until March the 1st. Since being deposed in 2014, Blaise Compaore has been living in exile in Ivory Coast.
The European Union on Tuesday said it will restart giving financial aid to Burundi following a similar step last year by the US, drawing an angry response from government critics. In 2016, the European Union, at that time Burundi's biggest aid donor, suspended all direct funding to the government for ignoring human rights and failing to stop a wave of deadly violence. Burundi was in a turmoil at the time when the then President Pierre Nkurunziza won a third term, which the opposition said was illegal. The EU decision on Tuesday followed a decision by the United States in November that credited elections, a fall in violence, and reforms by President Evariste Ndayishimiye. In his statement, the EU acknowledged that persisting challenges remain in the areas of human rights, good governance, reconciliation, and the rule of law. Burundi's Foreign Minister Albert Shingiro thanked the EU and its 27 member states for lifting the curb. The US decision came just 2 months after a UN Commission of Inquiry said the human rights situation in the Central African country had deteriorated since Ndayishimiye took power in June 2020. According to EU Observer, a news website in Brussels, the EU used to be the biggest aid donor to the former Belgian colony, paying out some 60 million euros a year.
The president of Senegal, Macky Sall, has awarded cash prizes and plots of land to members of the national team after last weekend's victory over Egypt in the African Cup of Nations. The Senegalese beat Egypt 4-2 on penalties to become Africa's football champions for the first time. Speaking at the ceremony in Dakar on Tuesday, President Macky Sall reaffirmed the pride the team had brought to the country.
Nous avons rêvé de la coupe. Vous avez construit ce rêve. Et vous l'avez réalisé.
We dreamed of the cup. You built this dream, and you made it come true. Finally, the Africa Cup of Nations is here with us. You have made us proud by making the name of Senegal resound all over the world. You have honored the nation, and in return, the nation you are so proud of owes you honors. During the ceremony, the Senegalese president appointed team members to the country's prestigious Order of the Lion. The team's captain spoke movingly about the meaning of this victory. From now on, where our hearts were, we now have a map of Senegal, a people, a goal, a faith, and of course, a star. The Africa's champion star. We can be killed but not dishonored. That was our slogan throughout the competition. Senegal have narrowly lost twice before in the final, in 2019 and 2002.
Uganda is seeking to legally mandate vaccines in draft legislation aimed at boosting the East African country's drive to inoculate more people against COVID-19. The bill will still undergo scrutiny in the Parliament's Health Committee in the coming days. The proposed bill calls for a 6-month jail term for failure to comply with the vaccination requirements during disease outbreaks. Attempts by Ugandan officials in recent months to enforce limited mandates have been unsuccessful. A vaccine requirement for people using public transport faced opposition from operators, and bars have returned to business after an extended lockdown without strict adherence to pandemic-era rules. Uganda's health minister announced in January that more than 400,000 vaccine doses were to be destroyed after they expired before being used. Thus a considerable loss to a government that has administered only about 12.7 million doses and whose goal is to inoculate at least half of its 44 million people. In Uganda, which has reported more than 162,000 virus cases, the US alone has donated 11 million vaccine doses, part of a wave of charity towards developing countries, whose leaders have accused rich nations of hoarding vaccine doses at their expense.